BoobTube, it's me. I'm back. And if you remember last time, who was the character I did? Trailbreaker. And I said I would have liked to push him back to this week and done somebody else last week that had just arrived, but I had already started my Trailbreaker footage and stuff like that, so I chose to continue with Trailbreaker and go with this new guy I just got this week instead, because I do like Trailbreaker better than this guy, but this guy's still pretty awesome. And as a kid, I really liked him, and I had his G1 toy, and I thought he was kind of cool and different. This is an Autobot, and he kind of falls in the same range as some of the Autobot characters that were more mechanically, scientifically minded characters, like Ratchet. The bot that turns into an ambulance was their main kind of medic that would fix them all up after battles. Then we had Wheeljack, who was like part medic, part engineer, part uber nerd. And then we had Grapple and Hoist, who were both kind of engineers, especially Grapple, pure engineer. This guy falls within those same kind of realms, but is a little outside of them. And without further ado, and forgive the lighting conditions in here tonight. I've had to film this video at night instead of during the day because my work schedule is all messed up. But next week things should go back to normal and stay that way for a long time, hopefully, instead of all this back and forth. But anyways, without further ado, let's introduce the Autobot Perceptor. Or Jansen, if you prefer. Preceptor. Guess what he turns into? A microscope. Yes, he shrinks down into a microscope. Now, that right there is your first clue as to, like I was mentioning along with Wheeljack, Ratchet, and Grapple, he's a nerd. He is probably the Autobot's biggest nerd. He is very scientifically minded, engineer minded, and a lot of his focus is on, I guess, the nature of the Transformers' existence, their type of structures that makes them tick and that sort of thing. That's kind of his focus, but he's smart about everything. And with Preceptor, you'll see in the cartoon clip coming up that he speaks in kind of an English accent, sort of. And he sounds like a know-it-all a bit because he uses this big vocabulary all the time, and he sounds so proper and stuff like that. And that is kind of the one knock that his Autobot allies kind of, it's like, that have on him. Like, it's always like he's always talking in all these big words and stuff, and they're like, you know, come on, speak to the everybot, right? So that's kind of the one thing they don't like about him. But he is so smart and helps them out with so much stuff on the non-fighting side of things, that he's just as valued a member of the Autobot team to Optimus Prime as pretty much any other Autobot. And we're gonna roll the clip right now. This is just kind of a brief little clip from one of the episodes of season 2, I believe it was. And season 2, I believe, is when he was introduced. He wasn't one of those original wave of Autobots. He came along a fair amount later, before the movie, but I think somewhere in the second season. And I don't know for sure what his first episode appearance was, but I feel like he was not even that second kind of wave with like Hoist and Grapple and Inferno and those guys, but I think he came even a little bit later. So I don't quote me on that, but that's my feeling. He just came along one day much later into the second, once the second season got going and stuff. Yeah, very cool character. And in this clip here, it's just a quick little thing. It shows him kind of analyzing some stuff in microscope mode. You get to see him transform, you get to hear him talk, and you get to see a little bit of goofy action at the end of the episode as the two clips are spliced together. So once again, let them cameras roll.
Very interesting.
What is it?
What is what?
Your diagnosis.
Morphobots. I'm certain of it.
Morphobots? I thought they were extinct.
As did I.
Morphobots. Yes, I understand, Preceptor.
It seems the Morphobots have left their planet in a desperate search for sustenance.
Also, Prime, we have reason to believe that they are capable of devouring any robotic form.
Yes, approach them with extreme caution.
Yes, they saved the world from the Insecticons. But soon they'd be wanting the world itself. Yeah, sending them to a planet inhabited by robotic insects was a good idea.
Optimus Prime,
Yes, what is it, Preceptor?
I could use some help in the lab, and incidentally, I hope there's another spaceship available real soon.
So there you get a sense of Preceptor's kind of general sense of what kind of a robot he was, his general sense of being. I mean, oh, Preceptor, right, with the British accent. He kind of reminds me of, like, he's the Niles Crane of Transformers, even though Niles didn't have a British accent, but just how proper he was and stuff like that. That's who he reminds me of for some reason. Now, like I said, I have Preceptor's G1 toy, and it's actually a really cool mold. It's a really well put together toy and transforms a little more complicated than some of the other G1 toys of his size. And actually, for transforming into a microscope, like, it's kind of an unglamorous alt mode, but they did a really good job with the G1 toy. So let's have a look at that right now. So like I said, that's a pretty cool robot, pretty solid. He looks more like his character, his G1 character, than some of the other molds did from the G1 toy line, and his color scheme was kind of cool and different, and just a really solid looking robot. But this is from the X Transbots line. We got another X Transbots figure entering the shelf, and I've had better luck with their transformations lately. I've got the last couple done, no problem. We'll see what happens here. Once again, I hope he's in his alt mode. I hope he's in microscope mode. I don't think that he is based on the shape of the box, but I won't know until I get him out of the box. So let's go ahead and do that right now and see what this mofo looks like. Preceptor. Let's break this tape. My nails are long right now, so this should not be a problem, although this must be really strong tape. Anywho, we're just gonna rip that box a little then. You son of a... There we have it. All right. Jansen. Here he comes. Whoa, we got a lot of stuff going on here. We got, one of the preview booklets that shows future characters. I wonder if it's the same one. Well, he's actually in there. Oh my god, I'm not going to show you any of this, but I've already got a lot of these guys on my list. So, oh my god, they look so cool. I'm not even going to show it to you. You'll see the robots eventually. Oh my god, there we go. So we got an instruction booklet, yeah. And then of course, character card. With the artwork and the grid and the headshot. So we have some sort of blast effect thing. And then we've got these two little panels here that have some weapons slotted into them. I'm not sure if these attach to him in microscope mode or something like that, or it's just a convenient place to put them or whatever, but he's got a lot of doodads. Ooh, he's got one head that's got like a weird thing over the eye. I forget what that's from. Probably obviously from some sort of episode. He's got another just more regular type of head. And here he is. He is in robot mode, as I was fearing. And oh my god, he's heavy. He is so much metal. There's a lot of metal going on in here. That's fantastic. And then, oh my god, Oh my god, this is amazing. Okay. So, in one episode, him and some other Autobots were on this planet where it was organic, these weird organic looking alien things, creatures, and the Transformers were really small. So, like, there's Preceptor as a tiny microscope. What the hell? We got some clear things. These are obviously to set something up. He's got a million different faces in here. Like, literally a million different faces. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 faces here. 2 extra heads with their own faces. And then this, which is crazy. We got another clear piece in here that I gotta prop out. There we go. And then it's got these other little characters when they're tiny on that planet. So there's Brawn, and there's Preceptor, and then there's Bumblebee. Isn't that amazing? So it comes with these little figures. So that's a really cool ad. I haven't seen anything like that, other than when they have Megatron's gun in smaller scale so that the characters can actually hold it to shoot it and that sort of thing. So that is amazing. So here is Preceptor. He is so heavy. He is entirely made of metal almost. So, and he looks amazing. So we're gonna hopefully get him transformed into microscope mode, see what that looks like. If it fails, it fails. But right now, here he is in all of his glory. He's fantastic. He's heavy as shit. I could kill somebody with this thing. But I'm not gonna, just so you know. I'm mentally stable. Most of the time. So whoever thought that Preceptor, the nerd scientist microscope robot, would end up being one of my favorites? Like, he looks amazing. The color scheme, the look of his face, everything about him screams perfect representation of his G1 character from the cartoon. And like I said, super heavy. Like, there's so much metal in this thing. It's just unbelievable. And that screams good quality. Everything's tight. And as you can see, I couldn't quite get him transformed into microscope mode. I got pretty far into it, and then all of a sudden when I had to put his arms, reverse them, and put them up top, there just wasn't enough room for this one to sit up in the cradle there, and I couldn't see any way around it. Like, I didn't see any mistake that I made that was causing it. It's just like something was wrong with it. So either I couldn't figure it out, or there's just some sort of glitch in there, but it goes together perfectly in robot mode, so I don't think that's the case. So I'm not exactly sure. But anyways, here he is in all of his glory, Preceptor. On top of everything I mentioned here, he had all those accoutrements that came with him, tons of weapons, tons of little weird accessories, just so much stuff, such an overwhelmingly good character for what I was expecting from him going into it. So this turned out to be a real pleasant surprise. And speaking of pleasant surprises, the next maybe 6 or 7 videos. We're leading up to the end of my collection here. Of course, I'm going to try to acquire them, as I said, with new ones that are coming out in the summer and next fall, but those are way down the line. If they're released on time, that's never a guarantee. But the next 6 or 7 videos are going to be amazing. I'm getting into some really cool characters, and I'm getting into some bigger characters too. 2 of them just arrived yesterday together on the same day, and I was just like, holy shit, this is overwhelming, and it's going to be amazing when I finally get to do them. These two guys that I'm talking about, but there's 3 or 4 other guys coming before those two that are also very cool in their own ways. So can't wait. I don't want to wish time away or anything like that, but I can't wait until it's time to do this again next week and move on to the next character in the stack. Which, if it holds up, that it is who it is that I got in mind right now. He's going to be amazing. But there's some other ones that are on their way to me right now in the mail that are going to be added to the roster. So it may be one of them taking his place instead, because this character I have in store for next week is amazing. One of my favorites of all time, and he's a fairly good size. But like I said, if I have any other new arrivals, they're going to come before him. So it's still kind of a work in progress. It's still kind of a surprise, as much a surprise to me sometimes as it is for you guys, because I never know who's going to show up in the mail at any given day and kind of change my order of reveal, right? So, but either way, the next half dozen or so are going to be amazing. So stay tuned, and I can't wait to show you the rest of this shit. Peace.